My name is Shakib Firzi and I'm the marketing manager of CCT. I will be covering a few introductory slides in the beginning. Now for Mr. Isam Al-Absi. Isam brings a wealth of experience in the BIM field and has chaired and led several initiatives in the Middle East and Europe, as well as being a prominent speaker and writer for some of the largest BIM consortiums worldwide. Isam has a structural engineering background with over 20 years experience and has led the BIM methodology development and implementation in Consolidated Contractors Company, CCC, and other large contractors, mainly in Asia. He is also the chair of the European Network of Construction Companies for Research and Development, known as ENCORD, and he chairs the 5DI initiative. Our second speaker is Mr. Shhadi Assouf. Shhadi is the hands-on expert covering the implementation of BIM and project control related technologies such as C3D Interactive, which is a CCT product, C3D Planner, Solinas for piping detailing, and other CCT solutions. Shhadi is a mechanical engineer with 20 years plus experience in several positions, including project control manager for two of the region's largest oil and gas projects. I just wanted to point out that all of our presentations can be found on SlideShare. All you have to do is go to slideshare.net/cctintl.com /cctintl, I'm sorry, or you can watch a recording of this presentation on YouTube on the following URL, youtube.com/user/cctintl1. There is a 1 at the end. Okay, just briefly, today's agenda. First, we're going to discuss or talk about CCT's knowledge and experience in providing BIM for contractors. Then we'll discuss BIM adoption methodologies that we use, and finally a use case study on a customer of ours. Okay, to quickly introduce CCT. CCT is the technology arm of Consolidated Contractors Company since 1997. We are their premium technology provider. We're focused on the construction, optimization, and asset management solutions field. We have several resources and offices, mainly in Athens, Dubai, Beirut, and Egypt. We have a growing install base outside of CCC, Consolidated Contractors, and we have a fully established marketing and product support team, as well as a partnership network that covers Middle East, Europe, and North America. We're recognized in Europe as the leading construction management solutions provider by ENCORD, 5DI. Some of our customers and the countries that we have done projects in include, of course, the CCC in all its sites in Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia, Pacific, North America. CCC's JVs, which include companies such as Bechtel, Al-Mabani, Fluor, TAF, JGC, Technip. We also work with a lot of owner-operators, including Gasco, Zadco, Borouge. And we also have direct projects with some contractors in Asia and in North America. For example, Sunway in Malaysia, NG in Canada, Bemco Saudi Arabia. We've worked in the past with Arabtech, MPCC, Morganti, CCED, Cyclone in Italy, and Aqua in UK. Some of our technology partners include Autodesk, IBM, Motorola, or now under the new name of Zebra, Penvision, and Brava. Our channel partners or companies that sell for us include Nomitech, Optimization. We also signed a recent agreement with a large construction consulting company for lean construction based in Germany called Dries and Summers. We are on the ISO board of the 15926 standard, which is a standard for data exchange in oil and gas projects. Our research partners include University of Alberta, the American University of Beirut, and Stanford University, specifically the Center for Integrated Facility Engineering. Some of the solutions that we provide, okay, we have several verticals that we provide for, include 3D project controls, construction ERP and field products, shop drawings and fabrications, handover, QA/QC, asset management and fleet tracking, and BIM consulting and construction support services, which we will be focused on today. The C3D Suite, which is our 3D project control solution, has been awarded product, and it has received several awards, including the SETI Award, which is an award from FIATEC. It was awarded. We were awarded based in 2010 and 2016. We've also received numerous star awards from the same organization. Shell gave us an award recently this year on Best Hands-on Tools Plan Management in 2015-2016. And, you know, as I mentioned, we've received awards from NCORD, and we've received a US patent back in 2015 on the 3D engine. I will now turn over to Mr. Issam Al-Absi to discuss about the some of the success stories that we've done before we dive into the methodologies and talk a little bit more about the case studies. Issam?
Thank you, Shakir, for the introduction. So, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for your time and participation. I will start the second part of the presentation by going through our background and experience in the field of building information modeling implementation with a focus on the construction industry. We started the BIM journey since 1997, and the first project was in Doha, the project that you see in front of you now on the screen, which is the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Qatar. It was our first successful implementation for our main client, which is CCC. With this successful start, we have gained a lot of experience over the last 19-20 years in the field of BIM implementation and BIM adoption for construction. We are focusing on the construction industry, understanding that construction has a lot of challenges, and we believe that the BIM as a technology can bring a lot of value for our clients. Can go to the next slide. Understanding that the value of this technology depends so much on the quality of resources. So since the start of our activities in BIM, we have managed and we focused on building the capacity and knowledge of our BIM engineers. So for the last 20 years, we are building engineers who are very competent and understanding how to adopt and understand BIM with a focus on the implementation for construction. And now we have, after all these years, we have an academy. We have 3 centers of excellence that provide BIM services for our clients. One is in Athens, in Greece, one in Cairo in Egypt, and one in Palestine. The total number of engineers currently on board around 220 BIM engineers. We have implementations that span worldwide in different projects and different kinds. We have implementations in infrastructure, in buildings, in hospitals, academic buildings, sports facilities, airports, ports, roads, any kind of construction, even in mechanical and oil and gas projects.
Yes.
Next.
Aló, سمعتك سمعتني؟
In this slide, we are displaying here, we are showing the different locations that currently we are present in, and our team are delivering BIM consultation for our projects and our clients. We have projects in Qatar, we have projects in United Arab Emirates, we have a lot of projects in Far East, we have several projects in Africa, in Egypt, Algeria, and Morocco. We have done a huge implementation that is currently noticed as one of the main and most successful implementations worldwide, which is the midfield terminal BIM implementation in United Arab Emirates and Abu Dhabi. Next, please. Now, what we do for our clients. Now, in the next few slides, I would like to show you what we do, how we help our clients to start implementing and adopting the BIM methodology in their projects or in their organizations. So how we do that? Of course, it's a new technology, and understanding difficulty of changing the construction industry, because it's very conventional and it's an old industry. So we understood that we have to adopt a step-by-step approach. So the first thing we do, we draft for any of our clients something called a BIM roadmap or a BIM strategy. So we'll talk about each one in details. The second thing, we advise and embrace the formation of a BIM entity within each and every organization. And this entity will lead the implementation within the organization, whether being a client or a contractor or even a subcontractor. Then we help the client build his library of standards, protocols, and procedures that can make him work in a structured and effective way. We provide enough training and education that is empowered by our 20 years of background in implementation of BIM for construction. So it's a focused and very customized training. And then we look at the client's systems, available systems, and we manage, or we help him integrate the BIM methodology within his systems, within his workflows. So we'll talk about each one in details. As I previously said, that the most important thing in BIM implementation is giving enough care for resource capacity building. You need to have qualified engineers who are very well educated, well trained, and skilled in this technology. And this requires embracement of the top management to be able to have a vision that is sustainable, to help the embracement of the whole organization to implement and give time and effort for that. We need the embracement of the top management in a sincere way. And of course, this requires time. The time might span, depends on the company capacity. It might be 1 year, it might be a few years. So we need a commitment over time. This requires financial support and definitely requires resources. And of course, we need to bring up the awareness of the organization or of the project or of the client to a good level of understanding what is the benefit of implementing such a technology over time. So this is not an easy process, and unless we have the embracement and belief of the top management that this technology will help, will develop exceptional benefits for the organization, it will be difficult to make a breakthrough in any project or any organization. Next. since I talked so much about education, bringing up the capacity of the BIM engineers, then we need to focus what kind of engineers we are looking for, what kind of education we are bringing. So our BIM engineers, we always target engineers who are very, of course, qualified. They can understand and accept to work in multi-disciplines. They should be multitasking, and they should be multi-talented. And this brings a lot of value to the organization, because a BIM engineer, when he is very well educated, very well knowledgeable, he can add a lot of value in different functions of the project, or in different function of the organization. So those engineers are fit in the organization in 3 different places. First, they fit in the BIM center that we advocate to build in each and every organization. And the BIM center, these resources will be the focal point for building the capacity of the company in the BIM field. They will develop the standards, procedures for the whole organization, support projects when needed. They will kick off the start of any BIM implementation for any project. And of course, they will be the core for providing resources for any project. The same engineers will be recruited on site once this project kicks off, commences operation on site. So they need to take the knowledge they have gained to the project team to deliver what they are looking for from having this technology implemented on site. So they need to look after the construction needs mainly, they need to look after their clients' needs mainly, and they need to look after what is required for the client for post-construction. After he finishes construction, what he's going to do with the wealth of information he generates during construction. The third category of resources that we are building up here is the automation and project control engineers. And this function is very important, as BIM has to do with information, has to do with systems. So the function and the role of the BIM automation engineer is really important and vital in the success of any implementation for BIM in any organization. Next. So the categories of the engineers we have spans from BIM engineers, goes to senior BIM engineers, team leaders and coordinators, and then a BIM manager. This is the skeleton where we think each and every organization must have to be able to have a healthy implementation for BIM. Now, the first thing that we do with the resources is to have a strict and strong criteria for selection. We give so much care for the selection of resources because this is, as we said, this is the most important part of the implementation, to have qualified and competent resources. So we have a very structured criteria for selection. We take them through an assessment process that spans some weeks, and then we provide them a training period that sometimes might span for a year. During that training period, a lot of knowledge and a lot of important education is being given to them from practical perspective and from within the client requirements and the client workflows. Next. And of course, to be able to advance the implementation properly, you need to look after the leaders of that team. You need to give special care and education for that to the team that you are building. So, and this kind of education spans from soft skills and enhancement of their communication skills. We take care of their technical knowledge, engineering skills, their understanding of project control, their understanding of the workflows of construction, their understanding of the different systems on site. And all this is being given to the team leaders, and it is given also to any participant. But there's a kind of focus and special care given to the team leaders because they are going to be the front line facing any requirement, facing any meeting, facing any coordination requirement with other disciplines or other stakeholders. That's why there's a very good care being given to those team leaders who are supposed to take this technology further. So now, what kind of technology of education you are giving? The education has a lot of topics and a lot of important functions that we want to educate the BIM engineers for. We start from technical engineering knowledge and construction methodology understanding. We need to make them understand what's happening on site, what's happening in the engineering office, what's happening when you go and hand over your project to the client. We educate them on the BIM standards and BIM procedures and how to follow structured way of working in BIM. We give very important care for how to make BIM to be your scope management platform for the project and for any stakeholder in the project. Of course, construction documentation, engineering drawings, and using BIM as an engineering platform to facilitate and the construction process from engineering perspective. And definitely we look at BIM as what is after construction, what is the client is looking for. He wants to manage his facility, he wants to operate his facility, he wants to capture the assets, he wants to integrate BIM, the BIM platform with his geographic information system or any other systems. And definitely during the construction, our engineers knows how construction is happening, what the construction team is looking for, whether they need a progress report, they need help in planning, they need help in making their foremen work more productive, make their team more productive. They need to have a look at the quality control process. So all this is taught to the BIM engineers, and enough education and in-depth education is given to each and every topic of this. Next. When it comes to standards, procedures, and workflows, it is very important to know that without having structured way of work in any project, you will not be able to achieve what you are looking for. You need to have proper protocols, proper procedures, naming conventions for each and every topic that is participating to the BIM platform. So enough and good care is given to this topic from education perspective, from preparation perspective. We of course respect and advocate standards, industry standards, and add to it more standards that we believe enhance the project control process on site. Now, next step is now once the resources are ready and knowledge is being communicated to the resources, we need to look very carefully at the client workflows and systems. And we give good care for that because we need to preserve the client investment. We don't want them to change each and every system. We want either to customize existing systems or integrate existing systems, or maybe change a workflow, develop some tools, some utilities that can help him to have all the information integrated in a good and effective way. It's all about information and how we are managing, storing, manipulating, and distributing this information to the different stakeholders. So we identify the existing systems, we perform a very thorough assessment and gap analysis, then we go and develop integration roadmap between the different functions and different systems that the client has. We develop some enhancement tools for the authoring platforms, whether being it's Bentley or Revit or Tekla. It's very important to make sure that the authoring process is very effective as well. and then we manage and monitor and support the implementation on site, making sure that all information is being communicated between different systems and different functions in a correct, accurate, and reliable way. Now, what is being displayed now on the screen is an example of a system integration diagram that we have developed for one of our clients. My colleague, Mr. Shahada Kassouf, will take you further through that. But this shows that BIM is not only about the authoring platform. BIM is about a complete layer of integration between different systems and functions. All of them communicate with the 3D environment. All of them has 3D interface, and all of them are delivering effectiveness to the process. So, for example, what you see here in front of you is an integration between financial systems, procurement systems, QSing function, site inventory and material management system, site productivity tools, 3D data warehouse, the BIM platform, document management platform, and so on. So for each and every client, we go and visit him and develop a diagram like this that caters the implementation and governs what we are going to deliver to the client. Because when you develop this system, you are making sure that the client reporting requirements is guaranteed and is managed and is effective. Of course, when we develop a layer of integration, we target the following: that it should be 3D based, because we advocate communication through 3D environment because it reflects reality. It should be visual, because everybody now is moving to visual interfaces. Should have business intelligence capabilities, should be scalable, and should be capable of having data from different sources and from different solutions. Now I'll hand over the mic to my colleague, Mr. Shahada Kassouf, who will take you through a very interesting use case that we have done for one of our clients in Far East. Thank you.
Thank you, Assam. Hello, everybody. This is Shahada Kassouf. I'm gonna mainly be talking about one of our implementation that we have done in the past year. So mainly I will start first, at the beginning of every implementation, we go to the site and we do some small observation to see what's the current status of the site, to see if there is places where we can do some improvement. So when we went to that specific site, we have noticed that there is inconsistent productivity. In other words, like you can look at two separate teams doing exactly the same job. One is giving a totally different number of productivity than the other. Now, when we went to ask the supervisor of those teams, why this difficulty, why you have low performance here and high performance there, and the answer was a bit fuzzy. They could not provide us like a root cause why this is happening. Also, we noticed that in this site, basically, they were not using BIM to define the scope. They were relying on mainly subcontractor. Like for the bar bending, they will ask the subcontractor like how many tons of steel, or for the concrete, the same applies. We also noticed that for this client, every single department has his own specific data silo. So in other words, the QS knows information. If you go to the site guys, they don't know it. If you go to the document management department, they know information that the rest of the site team do not know. Also, we have noticed, because they were not following any standard of naming convention, it was very difficult to try to link data together. Like, for example, if you are working on a specific, let's say, floor or room in a specific building, it will be very difficult to identify what are all the documents required to start such a job and so on, because the naming convention used over there was not consistent. We noticed as well that even though this contractor had been trying to use BIM for the past 10 years, he was actually building the BIM model just to do design coordination and then pass this information back to the owner. So he was not making use of this data when he's doing his construction activities. Also, we noticed many of the data that's available, even though, let's say, it's available in the BIM, you see the QS3 manually entering all of these data, or the financial department is adding also the same data again and again. Planning function mainly, I wouldn't call it a planning, it was more or less like a presentation department that we're providing for the progress presentation to the management and to the client. They were not really driving the site in their planning function. And the part that also was affecting the morale of the people is every stakeholder or every, let's say, department head was providing progress on his basically work, which was different from another engineer who's doing similar scope, because they did not have like some normalized way of reporting the progress. Now, after we started the implementation mainly, we have identified all the low productivity, and accordingly we advised their management that these are the area of low productivity for them to take corrective measure. One of the corrective measure, basically, they reshuffled the team. So they took the effective people from the effective crews and put them to manage the low productivity crews, and this have caused the productivity to improve. Also, after the implementation, everybody started to rely on BIM. Like you can see, the planner depends mainly on the BIM model for all of his planning activity. The estimation, any revision which is happening on site, everybody was mainly relying on the BIM as a source. After they implemented the introduced new procedure, you can see that linking the ERP, the planning, the estimation, the site diary system, it became logical and simpler because they are using known convention and naming conventions. BIM mainly is used now by all the project team, not like the old days it ends at coordination. Now you can see the planning is using it, the contracts is depending on it, the construction, they are coming every day to their planning meeting and they are looking what they need to do based on it. The other important part is before they used to provide many reports to satisfy many functions, like they used to provide reports for the planning to provide the progress, another report for the QS to request the payment certificate. But now with the implementation of BIM, the data is entered only once and mainly it is being used by all departments. Now we can say that the planning is the heart of the construction management. It's providing the open work front, proper workflows. They are doing what we call front-end loading in order to be able to provide this kind of data. Now I will just show you a number of slides of what was happening. How did we get there? In this slide mainly you can see that we have linked the document in their document management system. For instance, they were using SharePoint in that department. So mainly we link the document management system into the BIM, the C3D, or the C3D which was used for the BIM management on site. In this one, we have linked to their ERP system. Their ERP system was JD Edwards, so we were able to link directly to it. Like in this slide, you can see that you can select any item from your model and you know exactly what are the items required to build. Let's say if you are selecting a certain column, you know what kind of rebar you need, and it will check directly for you if those are available in store or not. Here we can see a link to their estimation system. So this is an estimation system that was introduced. You can see how it is mainly linked. You can see the various coding in order to be able to do the full link. Here what we are showing is how the planning get evolved after this implementation. So for example, you can see the planner now in this case start with what we call 3 weeks look ahead scenario based schedule, and then he will check it with the head of the planner. Head of the planner will review it, and then basically they will merge it and issue it. Now the BIM/project control team, they will do the proper administration of this plan, and reports will be issued to the daily foreman so that you know what he needs to do. Now after he do his job, eventually the progress will be gathered by the responsible of that specific foreman, and eventually the project will be imported to the system and the whole cycle will come again. Now here from my personal observation, because I was living this actual cycle, the most important part is you can start seeing site engineers worrying about the cost. If you see, for example, he have a fabricator, an extra fabricator or an extra formwork, it will show directly that his productivity is less than it should be. And he will start tell you, look, either you give me a bigger front or release this person. I don't want to look bad in my productivity and so on. So these kind of tools were providing very important information. Now, the output of all of this integration, we can see like instant reporting for the management. The one you see in here to the right-hand side are some extracts from their weekly progress report. Like for example, here you can see the overall project status. You can know the percentage on each one of them. If I go to the right-hand side, I can see right-hand side top. I can see per discipline what is the project status. And of course, I can see the various S-curves and bars and so on. But the most important part is the right top one, the right bottom one, which is about the manpower efficiency. This kind of report is telling the foreman the second he selects his front and he decides he wants to do this, it will directly give him alert whether he can do it or not. And if it cannot be done, it will tell him the reason is because you are lacking this kind of traits and so on. Now, this part was for the planning. Now, when we come to the other kind of reporting, mainly this client requested from us, look, this is a wonderful system, but for our management, we would like all of them to be looking at a single portal. I don't want him to go to, let's say, my ERP to see the status of the ERP, or I don't want him to go to the planning or to the schedule to see. So they wanted to see everything from one portal. And this basically was quite an extensive effort, but we managed to do it. And we provided a report that regardless of the source can be seen from one single portal. And the reason why we're able to do it is because we have in our team some of the people who understand really the client requirement because they have virtually similar background. So the screen you see here, for example, is SSRS, but it will show you the various names. Like you can see base cost versus actual cost, diesel consumption, machineries, planning, performance, various type of report from various locations. You can see them all in one portal. So this is an example, for example, tender cost analysis. So now our client can see, for example, the bore pile caps, what's his plan, what's the actual cost, revenue, profit loss, and so on. These are all mainly live that he can go into his portal and look at this report, and whenever there is any change or update, he will be notified accordingly. This is another one normally wait so that you can see the next slide. Okay, this is another one which is about the contract summary analysis report. And it will show you how we are performing with relation to the original budget mainly. So you can see all of these data are also live because we are getting data from the budget system, from the estimate, and the actual stuff which is spent on site based on the diary. This is another report about mainly the form work. So this is a sample report. You can see, for example, what are the various items that are required per specific cost code and cost type. Okay, this report is about the cash flow. Now, if we look at the various stars within this report, you can see that this report is getting data from various locations. Some of them are from the ERP, some other are from the plan, some other are based on how he categorizes his data, and these are the various reports that we normally produce. Here, for example, the material usage, you can see, for example, a summary. This is very useful for the management, especially if you want to see like how is the material being used based on what's budgeted and in various locations in the project. This is QC related report, which is mainly about the non-conformist report, NCRs. You can see the various NCR that have been logged. Now, the remaining are mainly a various summary report, like this is certified versus actual. This is preliminaries. This is staff overhead cost. And here, for example, you can see the various administrative related costs. So this is not the direct cost of a specific project. This is per month. This is, for example, the overtime that consultants are mainly using. And this will basically summarize the various reports I have provided. Now I will hand it over to Shakib, and if there are any questions, mainly he will ask us.
Okay, everyone. Just want to mention a few things pertaining to CCT before we look at any questions that we have on our system. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and type them in the box on the right-hand side of your screen. Just wanted to let you know that, again, this May, and probably towards the end of May 2017, we'll be having the 5th BIM and Lean Construction Conference, which is sponsored by CCC, Stanford University, and many times we have vendors such as Bentley, Autodesk also participating as sponsors in this event. And and also to follow us and know about more what we're doing, presentations and events that we are attending, you can always catch us on Facebook. It's very simple. It's facebook.com/cctintl2, or on LinkedIn on our official website. You can always follow us also on Twitter and on YouTube. Now, for the questions that we have, our first question, this is for Isam. Isam, if you can tell us about any projects, major BIM projects that you have done in Saudi Arabia, either in Riyadh or even in Jeddah.
Yes. Actually, in Saudi, we had the chance to work on the Riyadh Metro project, and this is a huge project. It's currently in Riyadh, but because of that the client was not really mandating BIM on the contractor, so our contribution was limited only to provide some studies for stations and so underground services. It wasn't really a complete implementation.
Okay. Was there anything else, universities, I believe, in the past, or any?
Yes, of course. We have, well, yeah, thank you for reminding me. We have a huge project that had a good BIM implementation. It's called Princess Nuya University, and it was a $1.8 billion project that we have provided services for. CCC was the main contractor for that project, and this was one of the most advanced BIM implementation that time. This is also another impressive project that we have done. We have done a project for called the Saudi Embassy, and this is in Cairo, but it has to do also with Saudi, and it had very advanced also BIM implementation, and this was more than 12 years ago. And it's worth seeing this project's implementation, as that time we managed to have project controls implementation for the contractor.
Okay, excellent. We also have another question from a gentleman asking, did you get much pushback from site teams when implementing the new systems, and how did you deal with these pushbacks?
The question is to whom?
To you.
Anyone?
Or Saad, if you'd like to take it.
Okay, I will take that until Shahada comes back. Yeah, actually, definitely in any construction, you find difficulties people absorbing and accepting new technologies. And the only way we can overcome that is three things you have to do. You have to integrate your BIM team within the construction field. You have to show them the benefits, and this should be very delicate process. You have to be patient with your construction team because they don't know, and they need to be aware of what they are facing because it's a new technology for them, and everybody's, who doesn't, if you don't know something, you are skeptical to implement it. And third, you need to have frequent awareness sessions with them, showing them what they can achieve. So you need to give them education, you need to give them awareness, and you need to be integrated with them. This is the three things that we advise if you want to implement. And this should be covered by embracement of the management. If you don't have embracement of the management, it will be difficult to fly.
Sam, just let me add also on top of this, because actually we lived it. Now, it's very important also when we are implementing BIM for the site guys to always view things from the site perspective. Like I remember we had an issue during the implementation when we are providing like the daily foreman reports. If we want, let's say, to represent one single slab, if you want to look at it from quantity surveying perspective, this slab would require mainly like 20 line items to be updated. So to go and ask the site person, look, I want you to update those 20 line items, it does not make sense. He will not accept it. So what we did mainly is we took this kind of report and we transformed it into something graphical, very similar to what he used to do. Like those guys, they used to take the plot plans and highlight it in a specific color. So we generate a report very similar to his actual day-to-day activity, and it worked mainly. So we took the difficult part of, let's say, bending the technology to suit the site requirement, and I believe this is what pushed it to become a successful implementation. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Shahadi. Thank you, Isam. Are there any other questions from any of the attendees that they would like to ask? Now is your final chance. You'd just like to put it in the box and we will ask you. Now, we have one question. How are you ensuring productivity improvement is having the desired effect. So it's about productivity improvement. Shahad, if you'd like
Now,
to.
mainly, if you actually during the presentation they were not clear, but whenever we want to do our 3-week look ahead, what we do is we pick up the critical activity, and the person who's gonna be, let's say, increasing his productivity, he has to go within the critical path. Like, because you will see many cases where a person will go to increase his, let's say, the quantity he produced with the lesser people, he might go to the bigger quantity and larger quantity, so that he will earn like some non-realistic productivity, which at the end of the project it might cause, let's say, very negative effect. No, in our case, our 3-week look ahead mainly relies on the critical path, and this is mainly where the productivity improvement, if it happens, it will not affect any other, let's say, workflow within the construction.
Okay, thank you, Shahadi. We have a question from Saudi Arabia. Is the planning is central of your process? Is this correct? So this is a question about the planning.
Yeah. Now, mainly, definitely, it is central of our process. In many of the implementation we go to, we notice that the planner is mainly transformed from being the person or the brain of the project into the person who do the actual reporting, so that he provide it later on to the management. Within this approach, what we did is we minimize the amount of time the planner needs to do in order to provide those reports, so he will have more time to really steer and manage the project. And with the introduction of the 3-week and 3 months look ahead using C3D, this kind of activity will be like the heart of the construction. For example, the planner will not be doing the plan on his own. He's gonna just provide target, and he will sit with the side guys and tell them, look, this is the target, let's see what you can do. And then he starts to select for them, for example, okay, can you do this slab this week because it is within the critical path? The second he selects the slab, the system will provide him exactly how much progress percent he's gonna earn this week, how much manpower he's gonna need, how much material he's gonna need, and so on. Having all of these linked together, both the planner and the site person will have a better view of the construction. Thanks.
Okay, we have another question from the same gentleman. Continuing from the same gentleman. Does this change from contract type, design build or design bid build?
Now, mainly, if you want to run your site properly in an efficient way, it shouldn't change. The only thing that changed within those two types of contract is how you report the progress, because some of them are quantity based, some other are percentage based, and so on. But mainly, if you want to manage your site properly, this kind of implementation should not be that different.
Great. I hope that answered your question, sir. And we have a follow-up as well, Shahadi. Your control managed from head office? Is this all control and management?
No, actually, mainly what we do is within the head office, we have what we call like construction support, which is a bunch of experts who knows all what need to be known. And they normally, during the initiation of the project, they go to site, make sure that all the systems are set up, and then the actual site office control manager will come and take care of the rest of the job.
Great. I have a question for Isam. Isam, a gentleman is asking about 4D and 5D and the future, which is the 6D. So the question is, 4D and 5D tools are becoming the norm, which is great to see. And, you know, I think we showed that very well in this presentation and others. Are we as a strategy in the BIM, in your BIM center, and also Shadi on the technology side, are we looking further ahead to 6D and maybe even beyond that?
Yes, definitely. Actually, for several clients now, actually for most of our clients, we are providing services that has to do with integration your BIM with facility management, asset management, geographic information system, and operation and maintenance. So if you look at this as 6D, then we are doing this for our clients now in several projects. And actually, most of the projects now, the clients are requesting integrating BIM with these systems. So the client is giving good care for both construction activities such as what I mentioned before from facility management and so on.
Okay, great.
Let me add.
Shadi would like to add.
Now, mainly for the 6D to be implemented properly, eventually there is a big homework to be done prior to getting there, which is normally start with the design during the construction phase and over. Now, the procedure and the document that we normally provide during this BIM adoption phase, all of them take into consideration the 6D. Like in other words, for example, when we tell him you need to number, for example, your column in this way, or your specific equipment in that way, or your HVAC in that way, all of this we have taken into consideration what the operation and maintenance had in mind and what do they need to ensure that you do it once and it will be propagated across all the phases.
Okay, great. We have from same gentleman continuing. It's very impressive to hear about CCC effort to control outturn certainty of projects using BIM. Do you invest in other innovation beyond BIM? I think this is a question for both of you.
Isam, I will start. Okay, now mainly what we do is lately we had like some lean construction initiative which is being implemented in several projects, and definitely since its beginning CCC and later on when we spinned off as CCC, we have taken the advanced work packaging very seriously. Now, I know we started it before it became like official and have its official name, but currently, like depending on the type of project, like if it is oil and gas, we'll go full-fledged with advanced work packaging, lean construction. If it is mainly building and so on, we go full-fledged with BIM and lean construction. This is some of the investment that we are doing in those innovations. Definitely on top of this, we have the technology part of it, like you know, the pen-based progress reporting, the various handhelds, machine, and so on. In this, we are like very much pro new technologies.
Can I add from my side as well? As Shahad has just explained, definitely we are looking to a lot of technologies such as laser scanning, mobile laser scanning, which is different, integrating photogrammetry with building information management or modeling. Of course, capturing information from the site back to the office when it comes to, for example, progress or snag lists or quality. This is also a lot of innovation and a lot of technologies being implemented and created for our clients. So there is a lot of things that we do around information management. Does this answer the question? Or? Hello?
Yes, it's
Hello?
confirmed. Yeah, it's confirmed. Thank you, Isam. The gentleman has confirmed. Okay. We have one last question. How how can BIM support the green buildings design? I think this question is for Isam.
Okay. Green building design is a kind of information that adds on top of whatever is captured as information for the facility. So, for example, if you want to create a facility that is environment friendly, so there is a lot of design criteria that you need to integrate within your design intent, and BIM is happening to be the most convenient and the most suitable environment for capturing all the information from design until handing over. So what's happening now in the market? A lot of designers are using BIM, a 3D environment, to simulate reality and give real dimensions, so that energy solutions can really analyze the energy consumption of the building and predicts the performance of the building. So this is happening within the BIM environment. Also explaining and demonstrating the design information and the energy consumption from design is happening, and now moreover it's happening from actual. So in reality, a lot of buildings now have sensors, where these sensors captures what's happening in life, from energy consumption, electrical consumption, quality of air, and it is projected back to a model where you can see as a manager or as a facility manager what's happening, how your facility is performing. So really BIM is helping and facilitating and embraces green initiatives and helps people to understand the performance of their facility and corrects, because as you are aware, green initiative is something is recursive. You have to develop it and keep on looking after sustaining your building for the environment.
Great, thank you, Isam. We'll stop taking questions at this moment. I just wanted to thank everybody, and thank you, Isam and Shadi, for this excellent webinar. We're definitely going to be having many more on subjects such as project control, lean construction very soon, and of course BIM, and hopefully we'll have even more case studies in BIM use, perhaps in mechanical projects, BIM use in civil and for planning, and in the near future. Thank you very much, everybody, and please check again in the next day or two on our YouTube channel if you want to watch this with the video and with the speech, and on SlideShare for the actual PowerPoint presentation. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you.